A lot of men are starting to wake up to the fact that their mothers not only wanted to control them, but their mothers wanted them to slowly become a sexually unattractive beta male. Your mom's entire agenda was not only to control and to emasculate, but she wanted you to become a beta male who essentially worships women. Because this is the guy that she assumed she wanted. This is the guy that she assumed she would have wanted in her younger years or during her failed relationship, if only she would have had this specific guy. So what majority of mothers try to do is they try to turn their sons into that guy that she thinks would have served her better in her younger years. So like, I'm home for the holidays and I'm going through shit like this. Like, this is me as a kid. Like, my mom in my elementary school days, like, this is me playing dress up. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is damn near child abuse. Like, look at me. She's turning me into a dork. Women don't necessarily believe in saving money the way that you do because they literally view life through all of their experiences and all of their emotions and not survival. The reason why she wants to spend so much and the reason why she constantly buys frivolous things or experiences that you look at and say, wow, that has no value, is because you are wired for survival and she's wired for fun and to chase feelings and her emotions. And that right there is the complementary nature between the masculine and the feminine.
Men have been taught their whole life to always respect women, where women have been taught their whole life to always make sure that they put themselves first. Because of this, I promise you, no matter what you do, no matter how good your game is, she doesn't care.
If a woman wants to leave you in a relationship and your mindset is anything other than, okay, that's fine, what you're going to notice is you'll always be left. Okay, so if a woman ever leaves you or wants to leave you, you have to just say okay. But if your subconscious mind, if your subconscious communication communicates anything differently, such as like, oh no, why, or why can't we make it work, or whatever, you've already lost. Because that's why she's leaving you in the first place. You have to have the mindset at all times that if she wants to leave you or she doesn't want to talk to you, you literally just sit on your ass and do absolutely nothing. And that's the way it has to be. The second you lose that mindset where you need to say anything other than okay, sounds good, that's fine. All right, no problem. Okay, door's right there. Well, you're screwed anyways. The common narrative is that kids today are not growing up with strong fathers, but this couldn't be further from the truth. The truth is that children, especially young boys, young men, are growing up without seeing a father who puts himself first. You see, what has happened is there's been entire generations of men that have been conditioned to constantly put the woman before themselves, which means what all the children today saw was a man who essentially just kisses women's ass in order to get by or to not get nagged at. So what you're going to notice is not only does the husband constantly just comply to the wife, but the entire agenda, the entire relationship is ran on her terms. And because of that, a young boy's mindset is submit to the mother, constantly say yes to the mother, please the mother, and if you don't please the mother, then all hell is going to break loose. But this is actually total bullshit. You watching professional sports with your girlfriend or wife is equivalent to her taking you to the strip club. You're sitting there as a passive bystander, staring at a screen, which is nothing more than staring at a wall. You're sitting there cheering on another grown man who's bigger than you, stronger than you, more ripped than you, making more money than you. Not to mention, now you have his jersey and his last name on your back. What you're signaling to your girlfriend or your wife 24/7 is, hey baby, you should be banging him, not me. And then guys wonder, why does she have contempt for me? This is how your life is slowly destroyed. This right here is me at 22 years old, and most men are never taught to actually go out and reach their genetic potential. You have to understand that there is what women say, and then there's what women actually do. Women will tell you that they want a guy who's nice to them, or that they want a guy who, has this type of personality or whatever. But if you actually look at the type of guys that they're banging, more often than not, it's dudes who are athletes, dudes who are ripped, dudes who are in really good shape, dudes who are good looking, dudes who have a six-pack. Like, most men are not taught that if you build the body and the physique, women naturally lust after you in a way that you've probably never experienced before. Men are constantly taught that if you just wait long enough and meet the right woman, all of a sudden she'll just come into your life, when this couldn't be further from the truth.
Instead, what they should be told is to maximize the amount of muscle mass that you can build, make sure that you are in a calorie deficit so that way you stay lean, and build a V-taper physique with a narrow waist so that way you look strong and aesthetic. When I finally took the time to get into really good shape, women would all of a sudden want to make out with me first at bars. Women would constantly approach me first, direct message me first, add me on different apps first so that way they could start messaging. Like, this is the lengths that women will go to when they actually find you desirable. Instead of constantly trying to meet the right woman, instead focus on leveling up your attraction, and then all of a sudden everything actually is way easier. This right here is my winning dating app profile that got me the most amount of matches with really hot women. Up first, we have the archery photo. This right here just crafts a unique masculine archetype. I'm looking off to the side. It's very candid. It's very natural. It's very elegant. This was definitely my winning photo. Second photo, leading into the cowboy archetype, you can see the beard, you can see muscle mass, and then I add just a few elements or layers of sex appeal. You have the cowboy hat with the Ray-Ban aviators, with the one tattoo, with the chain necklace, whatever you want to call it. This overall was my second best photo. So many matches. Third picture is me in the gym, just a candid physique shot, but not too try hard. Next up, we have the candid cigar shot. I would actually consider this shot more so male gaze over female gaze, but nevertheless, I really like the photo, so I used it anyways. It's leading with physique, obviously. Next up is me eating food. It's all mine. Don't touch it. I said so. And then last up is a photo of me filming content. This was for one of the programs that I was building at the time, and this is just a candid photo highlighting elements of career. Use all of these for inspiration to build your own unique masculine archetype. The biggest lie that women will tell you is that they don't want a man who's too into himself, or they don't care about how a guy looks. This picture right here is me at 22 years old, and what I can tell you is this: the only form, the purest form of raw, genuine desire, almost primal desire, is when she finds you hot or when she finds you attractive on like a genetic level. If you have never gotten into crazy shape before, just insane shape with razor sharp abs, a six-pack, things like that, that means that you have never experienced true female lust in the bedroom when it comes to her viewing you as an attractive option on like a primal level. What most men do is they try to use lifestyle, they try to use money, they try to use a bunch of external attraction triggers to make up for their lack of sex appeal or their lack of attraction, and this is a big no-no. She'll happily settle down with or marry a rich guy with little to no sex appeal, but when it comes to who she actually wants on an intimate level during ovulation, different story. I sold my Ferrari 488 for multiple reasons, but what you're going to find is that modern men were completely lied to. What I can tell you from firsthand experience is that nobody gives a shit if you're broke, but also nobody gives a shit if you're rich. If you do think that a car or some type of material possession is going to help you attract women in your dating life if you're a man, you're also in for a rude awakening, and here's why. Owning nice things actually makes it harder to have a good dating life because now you're put in the category of husband material. Now, for some of you, this might sound good on paper, but this is terrible, and here's why. What you're going to find is that women actually alter their personality, and they will test you even more. They will test you even harder because they now assume that there's potential insecurity. Therefore, you have this for a reason. Now, this is probably not true, and in a lot of cases, this is not true. You just happen to be successful, but they don't view it that way. They end up testing your core identity way more because they assume that you own this because you're lacking something else. You're lacking personality or charm or something. Life is far better without this. 2026, I am fully embracing the bum lifestyle. There's a generation of men trying to buy cars and houses and look cool to impress women. This whole influencer status fake generation is completely over. It's completely over, and it's completely overdone. Every single dude, we get it. You have a forearm sleeve. Every single dude, we get it. You rent it or you own a Lambo. Every single dude, we get it. You went to the cosmetic salon and got your teeth whitened. We understand you got the hair transplant. Nobody gives a fuck. This is a completely fake world, and all that's happened is more and more guys are chasing this superficial, materialistic, status-driven success that's completely fake. Women are catching on that all these guys are fake. This is completely over. I don't give a shit about any of this. And in 2026, I'm fully embracing the bum lifestyle. Whatever happens, happens. Let the chips fall where they may. Every true player knows how important this notification is, especially after she bangs you for the first time. Let me explain.
If you are not using this feature of turning your focus on your text messages, you are at a severe disadvantage. I would say that you can damn near get that woman completely obsessed with you, constantly chasing your validation, double text messaging you, all from this one notification. When you as a man start to understand that it is not your job to pursue a committed relationship, everything starts to change for the better. Most of the women that you'll be dating have already had numerous partners before you that have already had a psychological impact on her when it comes to how she actually views them. That means more often than not, you are not her first choice. To get her emotions to constantly work in your favor, you need to be doing these things so that way you create some mystery. You want her to wake up in the morning and say, what is he doing? Who is he with? Why did this notification go on at 6:30 p.m. last night? And what is he doing? These are the thoughts that have to enter into her mind, or she does not even consider you as a long-term option. She considers you as just another guy she went out on a date with. In 2026, these types of things are going to become even more important to start to stand out, because what you're going to find is that dating right now is more competitive than it ever has been. I was once on a date and a woman told me word for word that she doesn't believe in saving money. This is what she told me, word for word. She says, I don't believe in saving money. And her thought process or her reasoning for it was that she wants to spend her money on experiences, she wants to feel good, and she wants to make sure that in the moment she's not stressed. What that actually translates to, you have to always remember this. In her mind, subconsciously, in the woman's mind, what she thinks is that there's always going to be a guy at the finish line waiting for them or waiting for them to take care of them. The female subconscious is always hardwired for thoughts and feelings and emotions that leads towards a vibe, as she's banking on you to be there with the real resources, the future planning, the provisioning, and the protection for the future. No matter how this makes you feel, this is the hardwiring and this is female nature. And rest assured, more than just that one woman does think that way. This photo on the left right here is my brother and I when we were young, and then this photo down below is my brother and I just a few years later. Now, what I can tell you is that anybody can actually have a glow up. The majority of men don't actually put themselves first. Instead, what they're focused on is they're focused on pleasing everybody else. They're focused on pleasing their mom. They're focused on pleasing their parents. They're focused on pleasing their significant other or their siblings or their extended family. And they're showing up to every single birthday party and every single family reunion. And they're accepting dinner plans to everywhere whenever anybody asks them to do anything. And the problem is that you're just not inwardly focused enough. You have to take a period of 2 to 5 years and you need to say, listen, what I'm doing is I'm tracking my own nutrition. I'm dialing in my diet. I'm dialing in my own fitness. I don't care if I got invited to this birthday party where there's pizza and pasta. The only thing that I'm doing or focusing on right now is what I'm eating and going to the gym and getting fit and strong and healthy. And that is how you have the glow up needed. Eventually, this is how all of your dates have to start to look, and you'll see what I mean. If you're ever sitting there trying to have serious conversations with her, you are losing her. I'll say that one more time. If you are ever sitting there trying to actually get to know her, trying to actually have a real serious conversation with her, what's actually happening is you are losing her emotional investment by the second. Your dates need to be all fun and games. It could be thumb war, it could be sitting there playing Connect 4, it could be Monopoly, it could be going mini golfing. I don't know what you're doing, but you better start making sure that the vibe is actually there. Now, if the vibe is not there and she doesn't feel anything towards you, she might even gravitate towards a different dude who is shorter than you, who is less ripped or less jacked, who makes less money, because all of those superficial, materialistic, status-driven success markers mean absolutely nothing if she doesn't feel anything for you. I have a whole process to help you learn, understand, and master the language of women. It's in my bio. This right here was my face winter of 2023, and this right here was my face summer of 2025. What I can tell you is this: in 2026, going into 2026, facial aesthetics and facial attractiveness matters the most for online dating. If you are using dating apps as a man, okay, in order to attract women, have more options, and just make sure that you have a good, abundant dating life, right now, leveraging looks, aesthetics, and just overall facial attractiveness is going to be one of the biggest driving factors that you have in actually creating attraction. One of the things that most guys think the bigger you get, the stronger you get, the more size and muscle you put on, this is going to be most attractive, right? Having that strong, like masculine look, right?
But what I can tell you is this, not only from personal experience, but after seeing numerous other guys have similar results or the same results that I have had after having a transformation like this, leaning down is going to be your best bet.
Growing up, one of the things that my mom would constantly say to me is, don't be like your father. Oh, don't say that. Too much like your father. Try to be better than your father. Don't get angry. Be better than your dad was. And it's like, how many women, how many moms out there would strategically plant seeds in their children's minds in order to get them to be the opposite of the men that they were banging? And keep in mind, my dad had 4 children with this woman. 4 children. He was good enough to reproduce over 4 times. So, like, looking at him, like, think of it this way. He was good enough for her to have 4 kids with. But you want me to be better than him with my behavior? You want me to alter it so I'm not like him? This is nothing but delusion. And I don't think not enough men are talking about this type of stuff. Bum maxing 2026 is absolutely needed to attract the women that you're wanting, because what you're seeing is that modern women in 2026 optimize for sex appeal only. The things that you thought over the past 10 years that mattered to become a quote-unquote high-value man, you're watching play out in real time be completely untrue. You're watching guys with status still have no options. You're watching guys who are rich still have no options. You're watching guys who have climbed the corporate success ladder and drive a Mercedes or a BMW M Series still have no options. And the reason being is because as social media and dating apps becomes more and more prevalent, women are optimizing for sex appeal. What I can tell you is this: the more you have the mindset in 2026 that you don't care about anything, this is me, take me as I am, you work on just improving overall aesthetics, leanness, sex appeal. That right there is how to win in 2026. This was my physique at the age of 22, and dating was ridiculously easy. I would have women constantly text message me first, direct message me first. On top of that, I would even notice at a bar, like a lot of times women would just come up and start like making out with me first. What you have to remember is this: most guys believe that women are hard to talk to, women naturally don't want to communicate, and women naturally don't want to text you back. But the truth is this: she just doesn't have high enough interest. Most guys don't realize that women actually put forth a lot of effort to communicate and talk to the men that they want to talk to. And most men don't understand the amount of effort that it actually takes to become an attractive, viable option. What you have to do is you have to get dialed in. You have to get dialed in so that way you can actually start to have more options. Because listen, once you start to get to the right shape and the right conditioning where you actually ace the female lens of attraction, your dating options go through the roof. And all of a sudden she texts back every time. This right here is the physique shape and conditioning that it took for me to actually start to crush on dating apps. It went beyond just a decade of muscle maturity and being in the gym. You have to prioritize getting lean. You have to ace that 10 to 12% body fat, roughly, physique or stature, so that way you have well-developed jawline, good facial feature, V-taper, like all of that creates just like overall aesthetics, facial harmony, and your physique starts to look good. It was not until I started to actually dial in the physique to that level, every single morning fasted cardio, every single day tracking all of my lifts, tracking all of my nutrition, tracking all of my macros. This is what it takes, and this is what it's going to take to actually start to crush in 2026 if you want to have a good dating life. Aesthetics and physique is only getting more important, and this is what happens because of online dating. This right here was my physique in 2018. This right here was my physique at the end of 2025. And what I can tell you is this: nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, makes up for real, raw, genuine, primal desire that a woman has for you on like a primal level. You can try to go get a fancy sports car. You can try to go make $1 million a year. You can go try to make $10 million a year and get a private jet and a Rolex and all this stuff. Anything that you have to add to yourself that is superficial or external, or any type of external superficial attraction metric or attraction trigger or attraction mechanism, if you have to add it to yourself, you will never get the same type of desire that you would when you actually unlock her primal desire on like a real and raw level. And the reason is this, okay, anytime you have to actually add something to yourself, you are now essentially negotiating desire. And she's never going to look at you the way that you actually want her to. Raise your hand to go to the bathroom. This is how the emasculation and the manipulation starts. As you're a young boy, you're in school, and even to go to the bathroom, there will instantly be rules. Raise your hand. When I was in school, there was literally a sign-in sheet where it was only one person at a time. I remember this. I remember my female teachers setting these rules where there's a sign-in sheet where only one person can go to the bathroom at a time. And you have to sign the sheet to go, and then you have to sign the sheet with the time when you return. And only then, out of a class of 2025, does the next classmate get to go. So there I am having to take a shit or I have to piss, and I'm sitting there having to hold it. All for fear of going even to the bathroom. This is how the emasculation and the control starts. It starts in childhood. Most guys 12 to 18 months in a relationship, their face swells up like a goddamn balloon. Like they look nothing like the guy that they were the first day when she met him. The guy starts drinking more. He just thinks he can have more comfort food like pizza and all this stuff all the time with his girlfriend or with his wife. Like, look, just because you're in a relationship or like you're married or you got a girlfriend or something, that does not mean you can just let yourself go. Like most guys, if you actually take a side-by-side comparison photo, this is your face day one in the relationship. This is your face 18 months into the relationship. It does not even look like the same guy. And he wants to tell himself like, oh, you know, I should be able to just kick back and eat fucking fettuccine Alfredo with my girlfriend all night and all this shit, and she'll still love me. But like, as a one-way ticket to getting cheated on, it's a one-way ticket to just not being as attractive. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure. You have to stay dialed in. I was part of the generation of kids who was lied to and taught to try to become a high-value man. Bum maxing all of 2026 starts now, and this only happens when you finally start to realize that all of this was a lie and none of this matters. Work as hard as you want. Women don't care. What you're going to see happen is that women oftentimes bang the worst men possible. Women choose to bang and sleep with the worst men possible. And on top of that, throughout all of their 20s, they forego all of the good men just to find some dude in the club or some dude that they think is hot on an online dating app. You were taught that if you just work hard to level up your status and your career and your income, that you'd have all of these options and you'd eventually meet the one and you'd have a white picket fence and 2 kids and a puppy dog and all of a sudden life would be amazing. But you're watching this play out. None of it went that way, did it? The truth is that you were conditioned by your mom and your teachers to constantly serve her, to do what's best for everybody else and to never put yourself first. We are essentially a generation of men who were raised by women, taught to do what is best to serve women. Your dating life doesn't actually change until you put yourself first. The fact that I wasted my entire childhood in public school still to this day pisses me off. Like, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but the fact that I had to sit there as a kid and listen to these dickhead teachers think that they know something, or listen to all this like curriculum and basically be institutionalized. I had to sit there every single year of my childhood and shut my brain off and not think for myself. I remember every single day staring at the clock. It would be this countdown clock, like a normal just hand clock. And I would wait and wait and wait all day until that thing finally said 3:05 p.m. And then I'd finally like feel as if like I get to finally go home. Or it's like all of the times when I'd be sitting there in the morning eating my cereal right before school, and like I'm sitting there getting to watch like an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, just holding on to every single minute for dear life until I have to go to that hellhole. You have to realize she doesn't give a shit about you once she categorizes you as a beta male. So what that means is as soon as you're a beta male, she's designed to basically weed your genes out of existence. Once she thinks you're weak and she thinks you're beta, does not matter if you spent a year with her, 10 years with her, 20 years with her, doesn't matter. She now doesn't like you. She now thinks you're weak. She is now designed by God to basically say he is weak and I don't want him, and because of that I don't care if I ever see him again. I don't care if he falls off the face of the earth. I don't care if he whatever. She don't like you, and that's that. Fellas, you need to understand, okay, single does not equal celibate. She can tell you that she's single, that does not mean that she's celibate. Those cheeks are getting clapped somewhere. Another thing that you're going to hear is like, yeah, I went backpacking in Europe for a few months. I love to travel.
I just spent a few years focusing on myself, and I just decided to travel.
I bet you traveled and backpacked real nicely, didn't you? This was me in my early 20s, and I stopped drinking completely. The reason why I stopped drinking completely is because it's very hard to maintain an aesthetic physique and actually keep up on your fitness. Constantly, I would be weaker in the gym. Not only that, it would be harder to control my diet, harder to control my macronutrients. Overall, alcohol can start to make you look like complete shit. It's harder to maintain a six-pack. It's harder to maintain your strength in the gym. Overall attractiveness just goes way down. Throughout my 20s, I would go to numerous bars and clubs completely sober. The results and the things that I discovered was completely astounding. Majority of men will drink at these types of venues in order to establish some type of false confidence, but it goes even deeper. What I would also notice is that women would have just as much social anxiety oftentimes as the men. Just as much social anxiety, just as much approach anxiety. All of those same things were starting to become masked with alcohol. If you can establish good speaking skills and confidence without needing a substance, you will start to become miles ahead of everybody else. Truly, there's nothing more attractive than being able to meet women sober. Check out what I have in my bio for you. It's a full process to help you learn, understand, and master the language of women. Here's why I sold my Ferrari 488 and I will never own a supercar ever again. First off, any of you thinking that cars help you attract women, you are completely wrong. If anything, all this does is make it harder for you to actually unlock her genuine desire or her primal desire, because when she would have liked you purely from aesthetics or physique or a personality level, now what happens is it looks like you're compensating. Okay, anytime that you're using cars or anytime that you even like have a car or you have a direct display of status, it could be a Ferrari, it could be a watch, whatever the case may be, this is the problem. Now you're instantly going to be put into the category as long-term material or husband material. And what's going to happen is she's going to definitely change her personality and how she acts around you because she wants different behavior out of you for a future relationship. Last but not least, we have a generation of men chasing materialistic things and status, and this is completely unfulfilling. Men in 2026 are starting to realize that there's no point in being high value because women like to bang trash. Husbands, you're in for a rude awakening with this one as well. Once a month, and typically around the time that she's ovulating, you got to understand that she needs a hit of that trash. This is why women love banging dudes in the club. They love sleeping with just, the random fuckboy on Instagram or on online dating. They're going to tell you up and down that they don't like this type of guy, but what you can see is that good guys, stable guys, are just not as enticing for them as a sexual option. And what you're going to find is this. If you're stable, if you're predictable, if she knows what you're doing at all times, if she knows what you're thinking at all times, if she knows that you really love her at all times, chances are you will be cheated on. Doesn't matter how much you've provided for her, doesn't matter what you can give her, doesn't matter how much you do for her. At the end of the day, she gets turned on for trash. That's how it has always been, and that's how it always will be. Nowadays, you literally have better chances attracting a woman if you have just a little bit of muscle mass, a dog, and maybe like a forearm sleeve. You don't even really have to have that good of employment. She just has to look at you and go, oh, he's funny or he's hot. See, this is how simple and how easy it is when you actually lean into the concept of bum maxing. I am bum maxing all of 2026, which means I do not care about anything. I literally don't care. However my life unfolds, good. I don't care, let the chips fall where they may, because what you're seeing is that you have a worse chance nowadays in 2026 attracting women simply by attempting to be a millionaire, attempting to build a huge business, attempting to gain all of this status. What you're seeing play out in real time is that women don't care. And her mind goes, ooh, puppies, I love it. Ooh, new Louis Vuitton handbag, I love it. Ooh, this song has a good beat, it makes me feel good. That's how simple and how easy this is. You're overcomplicating it. They don't want high-value men. They literally just want men that they think are attractive. If a woman ever tells you, oh, I'm taking a period of time and I'm just focusing on myself, that's code word for she's getting her back blown out. She's getting her back blown out repetitively, a lot of times per week. She's probably getting banged hard. She's going to tell you that she needs space. She's going to tell you that, she say, oh, I'm focusing on myself, yeah. She's getting